Ever wondered how a perfect 1950s family show could get cancelled instantly today? Leave It to Beaver may look wholesome, but beneath those smiles are scenes so outdated they'd never make it to air. From casual sexism to shocking punishments, these are the 10 moments that would ruin its clean-cut image forever. 10. The tyranny of the haircut.
No, that only happens on New Year's Eve.
Well, I have to set the table up, honey. You better see what that is.
Yeah.
We start with an episode that seems innocent, almost quintessential, Beaver's haircut, from Season 1. The plot is simple. Beaver and Wally are given money for their regular trims. Beaver, however, loses his money. Rather than face his father, he tries to fix the problem himself. He gives himself a home-style haircut, which, as you can imagine, is a disaster. He hacks away at his hair, leaving huge bald patches and uneven tufts. When he finally reveals the damage, the family's reaction is, well, it's not supportive. Ward and June are horrified. Wally is embarrassed. But the real issue isn't just the bad haircut, it's the reason for the panic. Beaver is scheduled to be in a school pageant, and he can't possibly go on stage looking like that. The entire episode's conflict revolves around the sheer, unadulterated shame of his appearance. Ward's solution? He makes Beaver wear a stocking cap, a ridiculous, pointy knit cap to school and to the pageant. This, of course, only makes things worse. The kids, led by Judy Hensler, mock him relentlessly. "Beaver's got a head like a parsnip," they yell. The laughter is cruel. Beaver is humiliated. And the lesson he learns isn't about honesty, though that's part of it, but about the profound importance of not standing out.
Well, Wally, what about you? How you like Mr. Wilkerson?
Oh, he tells jokes in class.
Funny jokes?
No.
Think about how this plot would be handled now. The entire focus of a modern show would be on anti-bullying. The villains would be the kids mocking him, not Beaver himself for his appearance. The narrative would be about body positivity, self-expression, and owning your bad haircut. A modern June and Ward would be furious at the other kids for laughing. They'd be building Beaver's confidence back up, telling him, "It's just hair, it'll grow back, and you're wonderful no matter what you look like." In the 1950s, the ultimate social sin was non-conformity. Being different was a source of shame. The episode's humor comes from Beaver's embarrassment. Today, the humor would come from the absurdity of the situation, and the heart would come from the family rallying around him against a cruel world. Making a child wear a shame hat that invites more ridicule? That's not a moral lesson. That's just mean. It treats his humiliation as the natural, correct consequence of his mistake, rather than a social failure on the part of the community. The core value has shifted from fit in at all costs to be yourself. The 1957 version punishes Beaver for his appearance. A 2025 version would punish the world for judging him. 9. The casual, unsupervised danger.
I just want one thing perfectly clear. If you finish the boat, I don't want you doing anything reckless or foolish with it, okay?
Okay, Dad.
Okay?
Okay. I'd feel a lot better if they weren't building a boat at all.
This isn't just one scene, but a recurring theme that comes to a head in episodes like The Boat Builders. In this one, Wally and Beaver decide they want to build their own boat.
Hey, we got a lot more done this week than I thought we would.
Yeah, ball's beginning to look like something now.
Hey, we can't fasten anything to the sides. What are we going to use for a seat? Well, I'll look around the house later and see what we got. Maybe we could use some breadboard or something.
They gather materials, sketch out a plan, and set to work right in their bedroom. Despite their enthusiasm, the project quickly gets out of hand. The boys glue, hammer, and varnish a full-sized wooden boat upstairs, completely oblivious to the chaos they're creating. Early on, their father, Ward, even warns them that boat building isn't a simple task. He advises them to think it through, maybe start small, and definitely not build something indoors. But of course, they don't listen. Instead, they charge ahead, eager to prove they can do it themselves. For days, Wally and Beaver work away while no one checks on them. Not once do Ward or June pop their heads in to see where all the noise and smell of varnish are coming from. By the time the boys finish, they've built a beautifully crafted boat, only to realize it's too big to fit through the bedroom door. The episode plays the whole thing for laughs. Oh, those silly boys. But if you stop and think about it, the situation is absurd. 2 children, one barely a teenager, and the other still in grade school, are left unsupervised with saws, nails, and toxic glue in an enclosed space. They're running a mini construction site in their room, and no adult seems to notice until it's too late. Ward ultimately has to cut a hole in the wall of his own house just to remove the boat. The moment is treated as a harmless gag, but viewed today, it feels more like a parenting nightmare. In real life, this would be a household disaster, property damage, safety hazards, and some very uncomfortable family discussions about responsibility. And then there's the lack of consequences. The episode ends with everyone laughing it off. No grounding, no lecture, no serious reflection, just another boys will be boys moment from a show built on idealized family life. To modern audiences, it's a reminder of how different parenting once was. The unsupervised adventures, the dangerous DIY projects, the total freedom, it all belongs to a bygone era. Nowadays, that same storyline would trigger a dozen safety concerns, online debates, and probably a visit from child services. What used to be a symbol of independence now looks, to us, like pure neglect. 8. Classroom scene.
Skipper is. Larry, how about you?
I don't have to know nothing. I was sick when you gave out the assignment.
In classroom scene, Beaver and his classmates are seated restlessly as Miss Canfield leads a reading exercise. She calls on different students to recite lines, trying to keep everyone focused. When it's Larry's turn, he's clearly unprepared, and it shows. Piper is Larry. How about you? Miss asks, moving around the room. Larry fumbles trying to remember the assignment, and sheepishly admits, I don't have to know nothing. I was sick when you gave out the assignment. And teacher requests her another student and she recite these lines. Sick doesn't excuse him forever. Then other students gave a laugh. She continues the lesson, having another student read aloud a flowery poem.
Judy?
A skipper is the man who runs the ship, and Larry was not sick when you gave out the assignment.
Lower her eyes as a fairy flags her cheeks, like the dawn of day. When another student tries to repeat the lines, he stumbles over the words and adds in his own confused muttering. Then comes a noise and teacher asked, Are you making noises? Miss Canfield asks, clearly trying not to laugh. No, Miss Canfield. He insists, wide-eyed and innocent. Finally, she prompts him to continue, and your clothes were white as a hop-on. Student starts reading, Oh, in the month of May. It's a small, funny moment that perfectly captures the charm of Leave It to Beaver, a boy trying his best, failing adorably, and learning something about responsibility, all wrapped in the gentle humor and warmth that made the show timeless. 7. Funny magic.
Well, once you hypnotize, are you sure you can bring me out of it?
Sure. Just like I saw in the movie. All I have to do is say awake, slave, and snap my fingers like that.
In this episode, there's a light-hearted scene that perfectly captures Beaver's childish curiosity and sense of humor. At one point, he decides to try a kind of magic trick he's seen somewhere, using a small chain-like object as if it were a tool of hypnosis. Standing near a man who's sitting and watching with mild amusement, Beaver begins to swing the chain gently in front of his face. He puts on a serious, dramatic voice and says things like, "You are getting sleepy, very sleepy."
Watch the magic omelet. Back and forth. You're going to sleep.
He moves the chain in slow circles, concentrating hard, pretending to have complete control over what's happening. Everyone nearby finds it funny. Beaver looks absolutely convinced that his magic is working. The man plays along for a while, pretending his eyes are closing and his head is drooping, just to see how far Beaver will take the act. Beaver then proudly announces that he has made him fall asleep by magic, completely unaware of how silly he looks. The scene is harmless and innocent, a reflection of Beaver's playful imagination. It turns what could have been a dull moment into a piece of gentle comedy, showing how the show often used childlike wonder to create laughter. 6. Stupid questions.
Girls are kind of lucky, don't they, Mom?
Why do you say that?
Well, they don't have to be smart. They don't have to get jobs or anything. All they gotta do is get married.
In one scene, Beaver wanders into the kitchen where his mother is tidying up, the sound of gentle music filling the Cleaver home. It's an ordinary afternoon, but what follows perfectly captures the innocent and sometimes hilariously clueless mindset of a 1,950 seconds boy. Beaver, deep in thought, suddenly says, "Girls are got it lucky, don't they, Mum?" His mother looks up, surprised, and asks him why he thinks that. Beaver explains earnestly, "Well, they don't have to be smart. They don't have to get jobs or anything. All they got to do is get married." His mother smiles softly and replies, "Well, Beaver, being smart isn't exactly a drawback to marriage." But Beaver keeps going, adding, "Well, if they don't get married, they can become dressmakers, or cut people's nails in the barbershop, or take care of kids, and a lot of other dumb stuff." Patiently, Mrs. Cleaver reminds him, "Well, Beaver, today girls can be doctors and lawyers too, you know. They're just as ambitious as boys are." Beaver pauses, frowning a little, before asking in all seriousness, "You mean there's no dumb people left in the world, Mom?" She can't help but laugh, sensing something more behind his questions. "Beaver, is there something bothering you?" she asks. He hesitates and then admits, "Well, kind of, Mom. We're having an intelligence test tomorrow in school, and I don't know if I'm going to pass it." Mrs. Cleaver comforts him gently, assuring him that he'll do fine, reminding him that his father did very well in school and that even his grandfather was a professor, practically a genius. Beaver smiles a little, then sighs and says, "Yeah, it's nice having all that smart stuff in the family. I just hope it didn't all get worn out before it came to me." It's a sweet, funny, and quietly revealing exchange, one that shows both Beaver's innocent insecurity and the era's gentle but limited ideas about intelligence, gender, and family pride. 5. The inappropriate teacher crush.
Beaver, of course you will. Your father did very well in school, and I got good grades. You had a grandfather that was a professor. Why, he was considered practically a genius.
Yeah, it's nice having all that smart stuff in the family, Mom. I just hope it didn't all get worn out before it came to me.
This is a delicate one, because it was a common trope for decades, but Leave It to Beaver leans into it in a way that is deeply uncomfortable today. I'm talking, of course, about Beaver's crush, where young Theodore develops a powerful infatuation with his teacher, Miss Landers. This isn't just a "gee, my teacher is pretty" crush. Beaver is obsessed. He brings her flowers. He brings her a pet frog. He can't stop talking about her. He imagines a future with her. The show plays it all as adorable and sweet. Oh look, Beaver's in love! The episode's climax is what pushes it over the edge. Beaver is so smitten that he asks her to marry him. He proposes to his adult teacher. Miss Landers, to her credit, handles it gently. But the entire framing of the episode is that this is a normal, charming rite of passage for a young boy. Ward and June are amused by it. Wally teases him. At no point does any adult step in and say, "This has gone too far. We need to establish some firm, professional boundaries." In 2025, any storyline involving a student's romantic fixation on a teacher is a safeguarding nightmare. The language and understanding around power dynamics, grooming, and inappropriate relationships have completely changed. A modern show would never play this for, "Aw, shucks, cuteness." If this plot were tackled at all, it would be a very special episode. The tone would be serious. Miss Landers would be obligated to report the situation to the principal and to Beaver's parents. The focus wouldn't be on Beaver's cute crush, but on the professional responsibility of the teacher to shut it down. The visual of a second-grade boy proposing marriage to his teacher, and her smiling at it fondly, is simply untenable. We are now acutely aware that crushes can be the beginning of unhealthy fixations, and that the responsibility lies with the adult in the situation to maintain a strict professional boundary. The Leave It to Beaver version treats Miss Landers almost like a co-conspirator in Beaver's romantic fantasy. rather than the authority figure responsible for his education and well-being. It's a level of naivety that modern audiences, who are unfortunately all too aware of the potential for abuse, simply cannot share. 4. Wally and Eddie's dating advice.
This secret society business to cover up.
What are we going to do about it?
Dude, I'm going to go right upstairs and make him take that cap off.
Well, you can't do that. After all, if there is a secret club, that would be a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Can't just violate their...
If you thought Eddie Haskell's hypnotism was bad, his general philosophy on women, which Wally often buys into, is a fire hydrant of 1950s toxicity. Throughout the series, but especially in the later seasons as Wally starts dating, Eddie is a constant source of advice, and that advice is almost always rooted in misogyny. In A Date with Judy, Wally is nervous about a new girl. Eddie tells him the key is to be smooth, which is code for being manipulative. In other episodes, Eddie's philosophy is laid bare. Women are objects to be handled. He tells Wally that you have to treat them rough, or they won't respect you. He implies that girls like to be treated poorly. He suggests that being too nice is a sign of weakness. The entire dynamic is about playing games, gaining the upper hand, and seeing women as a species to be conquered, not as people to be known. Wally, being a good-hearted kid, usually ends up rejecting this advice and finding that being himself, that is to say, being a polite, decent person, works better. But the show never condemns Eddie's philosophy. It's just presented as a different, cynical, but valid worldview. Eddie's ideas are never called out for what they are: deeply disrespectful and sexist. This kind of casual, locker room misogyny is a massive red flag. The treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen philosophy is now widely identified as a cornerstone of toxic masculinity and emotionally abusive behavior. A modern show would have a character, likely a female one, explicitly call this out. If a modern Eddie Haskell said, "You gotta treat him rough," the response wouldn't be Wally's, "Ah, gee, Eddie." It would be a sharp, "That's disgusting. What is wrong with you?" The show's failure to condemn this thinking is its biggest sin. It frames Eddie's advice as worldly and Wally's as naive. Today, we'd flip that script. Wally's decency would be his strength, and Eddie's smooth talk would be correctly identified as the insecure posturing of a boy who is terrified of women. Modern teen dramas and comedies, while not perfect, at least attempt to grapple with issues of consent, respect, and emotional intelligence. The Cleaver era, Battle of the Sexes, where men are from Mars and women are from Venus, has been replaced by a much more complex and hopefully more respectful understanding of relationships. 3. The Crisis of June's Job.
What? Let me see.
I think it's better if you don't look.
I want to see.
We've talked about June's incompetence outside the home, but what about when she dares to bring the outside world in? In the episode June's Job, June decides she wants to get a part-time job at a dress shop. The reaction from her family is nothing short of apocalyptic. Ward is deeply threatened. He doesn't say it outright, but his pride is wounded. His wife? Working? It implies he's not a good provider. He pouts and frets, his masculinity clearly fragile. But the boys' reaction is even worse. They are utterly helpless. The episode portrays them as incapable of surviving without June's 24/7 domestic service. Wally and Beaver can't find their socks. They can't make their own sandwiches. The entire household grinds to a halt. The implication is clear. A woman's little hobby, as Ward implies it is a direct threat to the stability of the family. In the end, June quits the job. Why? Because she comes home to a chaotic, messy house and realizes her real job is at home. The episode's final moral is that a woman's ambition is foolish, and her true fulfillment lies in ironing her husband's shirts and making her son's lunches. This one is infuriating on multiple levels. First, the economic reality. In 2025, the vast majority of families require 2 incomes to maintain a middle-class lifestyle. The stay-at-home mum is a luxury, not the default. The premise that a part-time job is a frivolous whim is laughable. Second, the weaponized incompetence of Ward and the boys. The idea that two teenage and preteen boys are incapable of putting peanut butter on bread is absurd. A modern show would have them learning to be self-sufficient. The plot would be about Ward stepping up as a co-parent, and the boys learning to do their own laundry. It would be a story about growth. Instead, June's job is a story about regression. It reinforces the most archaic gender roles imaginable. It punishes June for having a single shred of personal identity outside her family. It tells the audience that a man's comfort is more important than a woman's fulfillment. This episode is perhaps the single most potent example of the 1950s separate spheres ideology. Man's world is the office, woman's world is the home, and the show aggressively punishes any attempt to cross that line. A modern audience would see June as a woman trapped in a pearl and apron prison, and they would be rooting for her to get the job, hire a cleaner, and tell Ward to make his own dinner. 2. The deafening silence of whiteness. This isn't a single moment you can point to. It's the opposite. It's the moment that never happens. Across 234 episodes, Mayfield is a ghost town.
Character. He was a wisecracker named Frankie, and he was played by Harry Shearer of Saturday Night Live.
What are you trying to do? Give me the business? Nobody gives away bikes for bottle caps. Cleaver, you're worse than your brother. You're a creep, too. Telling him.
Gee whiz, Lisa, it could have changed the whole history of that show.
Gosh golly, Rob, you're right.
Now, that lost pilot episode will air on WTBS on October 4th. It's the first time it's been shown since 1958.
Hello. This is a very special day for us.
Leave It to Beaver aired from 1957 to 1963. Let's think about those dates. 1957 was the year of the Little Rock Nine. 1960 saw the Greensboro sit-ins. 1963 was the year of the March on Washington and the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. The American Civil Rights Movement was exploding across the nation. It was the single most significant domestic event of the era, and in Mayfield, it doesn't exist. There is not a single non-white speaking character in the entire 6-season run of the show. No black families, no Asian families, no Hispanic families, save the vaguely othered Poncho. The mailman is white. The milkman is white. The teachers are white. The firemen are white. The kids are white. This isn't just an oversight. It's a deliberate, curated, and hermetically sealed fantasy. The show's creators built a perfect American suburb by actively erasing tens of millions of Americans. This is the big one. You simply cannot make a television show in 2025 set in a generic American suburb and have an all-white cast. It's not just not done. It's considered creatively, morally, and commercially bankrupt. Audiences, networks, and advertisers demand representation. A show like this would be called out on social media before the pilot even aired. It would be seen as a bizarre and offensive work of racial fantasy, a sundown town sitcom. Modern family shows, from Modern Family to Blackish to Fresh Off the Boat, have proven that stories are richer when they reflect the actual, diverse tapestry of the country. They create humor and drama from cultural differences, from the challenges of assimilation, and from the shared experiences that cross racial lines. Leave It to Beaver chose to ignore reality completely. It sold a vision of America that was already a lie, even as it was being broadcast. The show's complete and total failure to acknowledge the existence of anyone who wasn't white is perhaps its most profound and damning feature. It's not just a moment that wouldn't air, it's a premise that wouldn't even get past the first pitch meeting. 1. The good thrashing.
Jackie Pryor took a note home and was expelled. I'll bet you're gonna get it. They'll throw you right out of school. Won't they throw him out of school?
We've arrived at number 1. The single most jarring, uncomfortable, and utterly unacceptable aspect of Leave It to Beaver. It's the casual, constant, and fatherly approved threat of physical violence. I'm talking about corporal punishment. Throughout the show, the ultimate threat is the belt, or a good thrashing. And this isn't just an empty threat. While the show never showed the spankings, it was explicit that they happened. In The Perfect Father, Beaver and Wally write an essay about Ward, and they list his good qualities, including the fact that he gives them a good wailing when they deserve it, and never does it when he's mad. The show portrays this as a positive trait. In The Haircut, Ward's ultimate punishment for Beaver losing the money is that he's going to get it after dinner. The entire scene is Beaver, terrified, waiting for his father to come home and hit him. In Beaver's short pants, after Beaver is tricked by Eddie, Ward says the only appropriate punishment is a thrashing. The show treats physical punishment as the normal, correct, and even loving response to a child's misbehavior. It's presented as the final, necessary tool in a good father's toolkit. Ward isn't an abuser, he's a disciplinarian.
And I got good grades? You had a grandfather that was a professor. Why, he was considered practically a genius.
Yeah, it's nice having all that smart stuff in the family, Mom. I just hope it didn't all get worn out before it came to me.
This is the ultimate deal breaker. Our understanding of child development, psychology, and abuse has fundamentally shifted. The line between discipline and violence has been redrawn. Today, a plot that ends with a father promising to hit his child with a belt would be classified as a story about child abuse. No modern sitcom protagonist, no good dad like This Is Us's Jack Pearson or Modern Family's Phil Dunphy would ever be shown threatening their child with physical violence. It's unthinkable. The American Academy of Pediatrics has unequivocally stated that spanking and all forms of corporal punishment are harmful, increasing aggression in children and risking injury. The cultural consensus has moved. What Ward Cleaver did was, by 2025 standards, child abuse. If this plot aired today, Ward wouldn't be the moral center of the show. He'd be the villain. The episode would be about the family grappling with his anger, and June, or a school counselor, would be stepping in to teach him positive parenting techniques. The idea of a child thanking his father for hitting him, as the essay in The Perfect Father implies, is grotesque to a modern audience. This, more than the pearls, the lack of diversity, or the silly driving, is the moment that breaks the Leave It to Beaver fantasy. It shatters the image of Ward as the perfect father. It reveals a darkness at the heart of the perfect family, a darkness that was considered perfectly normal in 1957, but is, thankfully, seen for what it is today. So, maybe Leave It to Beaver isn't quite the innocent family show we remember. It reflected a time when conformity, silence, and strict roles ruled the household, a world that feels almost alien today. But that's what makes looking back so fascinating. It shows us just how far we've come, and how much we've learned about what a perfect family really means.